Don't agree,
We had fun. I hope you're good. Dr. Bat is laughing. Well, all right. Well, good morning to you, viewers. Let's begin what's trending in Nigeria. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission and the Nigerian Correctional Service have been implicated in a bribery scandal that has set social media abuzz on Tuesday. A social media influencer who goes by the name Verydark Man posted a video which revealed an audio recording allegedly made by popular cross-dresser Bobrisky, saying that he had bribed some officials of the anti-graft agency with 15 million naira to drop the money laundering charges against him before he was sentenced to 6 months in prison on April 12th for abusing the naira. Bobrisky also allegedly claimed in the audio recording that he never spent a night in prison and that Femi Falana, a senior advocate of Nigeria and the father of popular musician Falz, was hired to secure a presidential pardon for him in exchange for 10 million naira. Bobrisky has, however, denied all the allegations in a post on Instagram on Wednesday, saying that the audio recording is fake.
You know, I was on my way to the prison, then my godfather called me and said, "You will not enter that prison, don't worry. Let me make arrangements for an apartment close to the prison that is going to call the controller in that's overall in Nigeria and Abuja, and I'm talk to them. They shall talk before I come back, Then I took me to one apartment that I must not come out till I finish my sentence. That the Oga said they should come out. The Oga said they should come and keep me here. That I mustn't go like enter data, but nobody should know that I'm not there.
Yes.
You know. So they said the guy will collect money.
All right. I mean, this has caused a lot of frenzy on social media. There's a person that they said was implicated, Haliru Naba, who's the Controller General of the Nigerian Correctional Service. That was one of the names that was called in that audio recording. Again, it's still an allegation. Well, Verydark Man's post, which has since gone viral, has caught the attention of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission and the Ministry of Interior. Both agencies have ordered an immediate investigation into the allegations. The post has also caught the attention of Falz, who on Wednesday demanded a 24-hour retraction from Verydark Man for defamation after he claimed that Falz may have been complicit in the scandal and also questioned his sexual orientation. All right, of course, we know that Falz is the son of a senior advocate. He's already gone to social media to post his retraction demand from Verydark Man. If I can read some of the excerpts of that letter. Let me pull that up. Falz wrote, "To set the record straight, our client never at any point initiated a conversation with Mrs. Idris or Mr. Idris Okuneye. Our client has documentary evidence that Mr. Idris was in fact the one who initiated a call. Specifically, on the 4th of May 2024, Mr. Idris, aka Bobrisky, contacted our client requesting a phone conversation with him. Our client graciously obliged, having knowledge of the naira abuse charges levied against him and genuinely believing he might require legal advice. Mr. Idris, aka Bobrisky, called shortly after, but instead of soliciting legal advice, he stated that he was in distress and needed financial assistance of about 3 million naira, which he claimed he needed to pay some officials to be permitted to stay in the VIP section of the correctional center. In the letter, Falana asked the public for a public apology to be published across all platforms where the false defamation was disseminated. The letter added that, there should be a retraction and apology to be issued within 24 hours to the chambers and would pursue legal actions, including claims for monetary damages. There was another statement that was in that letter, which was the main defamation. Falz had said, without contacting our client, you went ahead, that is Verydark Man, to publish a careless statement containing multiple allegations, including an insinuation that our client is involved in a homosexual affair and intended to get a presidential pardon for Mr. Idris Okuneye. Very dark man, violent. He has actually responded, Ayo. I watched his post, I believe it was on YouTube, and he talked about the fact that, he did not accuse Falz of anything, but you heard in that video, if you all heard that video clip, he did insinuate that Falz may have been homosexual. But I think the big story here is the accusation, really, of the EFCC officials and the Nigerian Correctional Facility. I would like to start with Dr. Abati, really, on this conversation.
Okay, I mean, this is a very disturbing thing. Yeah. The first point we must admit is that all the parties involved have been saying, oh, I didn't say this, I didn't say that. First, social media interaction, electronic interaction, that's what we have seen. First, to establish that people must know that what you do on a phone or internet or computer and all that, the evidence is admissible in law in Nigeria. Section 84 of the Evidence Act of 2011, and also Section 258 of the Evidence Act. And also, we have the book on electronic evidence in Nigeria. One of the authorities that I know is that of Justice Alaba Ajileye. So nobody should say, oh, it's not my voice, it's this and that. The court can admit the evidence and investigate it. That's number one. Number two is that Verydark Man, I think his name is Victor Esse. He has said, is it Martins? Martins Esse, whatever. That, he didn't say those things. He just asked a question that his Falz also. No, there's something in law called innuendo.
Absolutely.
If you just make any unnecessary innuendo that is defamatory per se, you can be called to question. And it is on the basis of that counsel to Falz, that's Mr. Falana Jr., Femi Falana, has said there should be a retraction. What he has said, through his lawyer, Deji Adeyanju, that, he didn't say so. Well, he will have, if Femi Falana decides to go to court, he will have to go and defend himself. Yes. Number three, he also alleged that Femi Falana, SAN, was involved in this attempt to procure pardon. In terms of the implication for the justice administration system in Nigeria, that's a very serious matter. Yeah. In that same video, there was evidence, the allusion that Bobrisky, his name is Okuneye, Idris Okuneye, was said to have been sentenced to prison. First, that he procured the reduction of the charges. Yes. And second, that a certain godfather intervened, and instead of going to prison, they paid a certain controller general, and he stayed in a flat. These are very disturbing things about the justice system in Nigeria. But I've seen people who say anything is possible here. After all, we were in this country when a certain person, who shall remain nameless, was in prison, and his wife, he impregnated his wife from prison. And in fact, there was a naming ceremony while he was still in prison. Yeah. How did he get to a position where he impregnated his wife?
Immaculate conception.
Immaculate conception. This is where I want you to come in, Rufai, really quickly, because this is the bigger conversation. The fact that, our prison system, allegedly so porous. I mean, if you had seen some reports from FIJ, Fushayo Soyombo, he had posted different, there was a time he spent in jail. Yeah. He went undercover, and he did reveal damning evidence about the fact that our prison systems are it's like this.
So that report is out there, and the question is, what will the Minister of Interior do? So generally, he has said that they will order an investigation. We'll see the outcome of that investigation. There are some investigations we're waiting. Mm-hmm. We're also waiting for the EFCC as regards to 15 million that was said to be given to some EFCC officials to be able to give them, to be able to drop those charges of money laundering. Yes. Because all of us too were surprised when that thing happened, because all of a sudden it was money laundering charges plus Naira flunking. Yes. Then all of a sudden money laundering dropped. Then it was just only Naira flunking before he went in for this. Then also, We will have to have investigations deeply because we've heard a lot of complaints, especially as regards the prison service, what goes on there. In fact, we've had like 2 people bring letters officially that I have sent to the minister himself as regards the state of our prison and what is really going on there. So we'd like to get to the end of the matter. As regards the Verydark Man revelation, if Bobrisky is saying that he didn't say all those things, I think we also need to have a private investigation where we subject Bobrisky's voice to forensics.
Yes, because there is
so that
AI.
We can get, so that we can get a full forensic outlook as regards to what happened. And as regards Falz writing that letter saying they should retract, you know, when you look at Verydark Man's, what's it called, expose, there were some things he needed to have been careful on. I think just playing the audio will have been adequate. A lot of mistakes were made in the analysis, where he went ahead to cast aspersion and say, oh, this person is defending this person, so they shouldn't go that way. Like Dr. Wati said, he left room for innuendos there. Because when you read Falz's rebuttal, he now gave a full context to the conversation, saying that they were even telling them that you don't need to pay for any pardon.
He did. No, so, not for any pardon, for the VIP section. The only conversation they had was a 3 million naira conversation.
Whatever. So he gave some clarity as regards the context in that matter. But all of this too is not ending because, you know, all of this really started because of money. The person that released that audio to Verydark Man was being owed money by Bobrisky. And the money has been paid. And Verydark Man says he's not going to release the audio.
Wait, has the money been paid?
Yes, the money has been paid, 4 million naira. Yes, he showed the updates. In fact, Bobrisky was calling the person and was even willing to pay. So the money has been paid. I think to get to the nitty-gritty of this matter, because me, I love Wawulens. Verydark Man said more names were mentioned in the part B of the audio. Verydark Man, we beg you, with everything we owe, for the integrity and the safety and the love we have for this country. You must release that part 2 of that audio.
We need it.
We need it. Absolutely. We need to be able to hear more names. We need to be able to get to the end of this matter. Maybe in that part 2, we will know the godfather that procured the flat apartments. That called the controller. Maybe we will also know other skeletal Indomie activities that went on in that place.
On fire.
So please, Verydark Man, I know you get to the end of the matter.
Except it's just for Wawulens. When the information comes out, what will happen?
Investigation.
That's what I'm saying.
Usually, See,
hold on.
I take this matter now.
No, I agree with you.
Because it's a state matter. We need to get to the end of it.
The reason I said that is because, like Dr. Bakti cited, this is not the first time we have heard or seen or that we know that things untowards are happening in the prison service.
Yes, that's the main point.
Fisayo Shoyombo he went in at the risk of his life. What happened? What will just happen is it will be social media sensation for a few weeks.
Well, I hope not.
I'm just saying, what has happened in the past?
Well, I hope not.
But because names have been, that's what I'm saying is that people say, oh my goodness, did you hear? How many times have exposés been done and nothing has happened? But let me just say something. The spirit behind this as well, and I was going to clarify that. Recall that the reason why he released this audio in the first place was almost tantamount to blackmail of Bobrisky. That's another angle because he told Bobrisky that if you don't pay me the money, I will release. And then he recorded that audio without the knowledge, I want to assume, of Bobrisky. So there's another thing around there as well, on the side of Bobrisky, that there's blackmail, elements there.
But we can only say that because Bobrisky has denied the audio. We can only say that if it is confirmed
he's the one. So I'm giving you a way out,
if it's confirmed by forensic expert, that's actually Bobrisky's audio. Then we will now go into privacy laws.
Yes, exactly.
Because that one too, we cannot, because people also do it in our country. You have conversation and they record your conversation.
Okay, well, all right.
Only a court of law can determine
all of this. I want to say so that we can end.
Made one point too, that justice in this country will seem to be only for the rich people, that the poor do not have access to justice. At a theoretical level,
But
that's access to justice is an important point.
Absolutely. Talking about
but the
justice,
legal issues, the dramatist personnel there can sort it out, including the public officials that have been mentioned, using their positions to trade.
All right, talking about justice is going to lead me to my next story. We all have to sum this up. Bobrisky, who is in the center of the story, has denied all allegations at this point, so we are not accusing anybody on the show. But we need to reveal this investigation. Such a big story. We'll follow up on it. We'll take another story now. Private Ruth Ogunleye, an ex-female soldier who was said to have been discharged by the Nigerian army for being mentally unstable after she accused a senior officer, Colonel Abdul Karim, of sexual harassment, has demanded that the army publish the outcome of the investigation that led to her discharge.
I want to humbly request that the Nigerian army publish the outcome of the investigation that led to my discharge on all social media platforms, including radio station, all channels. I also want to beg the Nigerian army to post the outcome of the investigation on all social media platforms so that the whole wide world will know what really transpired between myself and Abdul Karim and what led to my discharge. I'll be very, very grateful if you guys approved my request. Same way I was published that I'll be dismissed. And
Dr. Abati, Ayo, you weren't here. We took this story yesterday, big story. She has demanded that they release the probe that led to her discharge. She has said that actually during an interview at AIT, she said that she was actually the one who voluntarily asked to be recused from the army. Well, Private Ruth also granted an interview to AIT where she claimed that the Nigerian army lied and that she is not mentally unstable. She also claimed that she reported the sexual assault to the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, and he did nothing, adding that she's scared for her life. Let's take a look.
I'm perfectly okay. It was just a cook-up story because during the course of that investigation, the Nigerian army took me to National Hospital for medical evaluation, which turned out to be negative. And they told me that they could not diagnose me. So Major General Onyema is after my life, sending people to unalive me. So the army and every year they are looking for a way to kill me. I want Nigerians to intervene, and I need an open investigation. I need justice. That is all I want.
All right, I watched this woman's story yesterday. I was touched. This woman has asked for help. I mean, she does appear like she's completely stable. Her interview was on point. She didn't appear to be unstable. Dr. Abati.
Oh, I'll be brief. We discussed this yesterday, and we said we'd still like to hear from her.
Yes.
But we also like to hear from the Minister of Women Affairs.
Yes, which you said yesterday.
Uju Kennedy Ohaneye, as she mentioned. And I saw her interview on AIT.
Yes.
I saw, the other reports in the other stations. She was very lucid.
Yes.
She didn't come across as if she's, medically vulnerable. And, when I looked at it, I said, okay, I can understand why the colonel was misbehaving, with that diastema,
Let's not objectify.
No, let me finish now. With that diastema and all of that. In fact, I got so carried away with her presentation, even sympathizing with her. Mm-hmm. She was raped. Nobody listened to her. She had to go to the Minister of Women Affairs. She confronted the military, the Nigerian army, with empirical facts.
Yes.
In fact, at a point, I said, this is a woman of empirical facts.
Rufai.
And we have somebody
Rufai.
on this table.
Dr. Batis,
we have somebody on this table
story.
who is always talking empirical facts.
Empirical
so
facts,
in terms of spirit,
yes.
if I would not mind recommending this woman as, a good friend, a good ally for Rufai Hosseini.
All right, you know what? Okay, I want to just clarify. Go ahead.
I just want to say one brief comment.
Empirical Facts Association.
Please. I've not even listened to what Dr.
Go ahead.
My headphones in my
Yes.
ear. As regards this, please, do we have a safe house for this woman?
This is the main point.
I think that's the main point. I just want to say
we need a safe house. What is the army actually even doing for people that have mental instability? Because this is what they're claiming. How did you dismiss her like that?
Let me just say something. She also mentioned the name of the Chief of Defense Staff, General Musa. I think on behalf of all the women who serve in the military, that they owe it to them to open an investigation so that the institution doesn't seem like one that protects or shields women from getting justice against sexual harassment. She's not the first case, and this is a strong show for the military to see that they support women and they'll have no tolerance, zero tolerance to sexual harassment.
She has indicted not just Major Chief of Defense. She also indicted, I believe, Lagbaja as well, Tori Lagbaja, as well as Onyema Nwachukwu. And we need to hear from the army, because this is not the end of the story. She has come out to lay down these allegations. She also talked about the fact that, you know, the colonel had put her in a body bag and raped her consistently. This is unacceptable. It is a real shame. If the Nigerian army is, you know, operating and doing a cover-up for this story, we need to hear more.
Yes.
We'll take another story. The special advisor to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on information and strategy, Bayo Ononuga, on Wednesday, disclosed plans for an imminent cabinet reshuffle. During a press briefing at the State House in Abuja, Ononuga stated that it remains unclear when the president will make the changes, but urged ministers to actively promote the progress of the Tinubu administration, adding that many Nigerians are unaware of the government's achievements, as some ministers have been reluctant to speak publicly.
Cabinet reshuffle, let me tell you, I don't have any timeline. The president has expressed his desire to reshuffle his cabinet, and he will do it. I don't know whether he wants to do it before October 1, but he will surely do it. So that's what I will say. He has not given us any timeline when he wants to do it, but he will do it. He has expressed his plan. He wants to do it. He wants to reshuffle.
I think this is about the first time that I'm seeing Bayo Ononuga, you know, represent the president in, you know, a visual manner. First video recording that I've seen him, he's doing very well. But you know, this is about time. People have talked about the fact that, you know, the cabinet needs to be reshuffled. I believe that the Guardian is reporting that those familiar with some of the details of the imminent cabinet reshuffle say that 11 ministers have been penciled down for replacement, with the chief of staff to the president, Femi Falana, likely to be relieved of his appointment. And the former Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, will be a likely replacement for Falana. Well, if he decides the offer, or if he declines the offer, the current principal Secretary to the President, Hakeem Muri Okunola, has been identified to fill the void. Then the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of Economy, Wale Edun, is expected to be a junior minister in the person of the Chairman, Presidential Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms Committee, Mr. Taiwo Oyedele, while decisive action is likely to be taken on the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Elevation, Betta Edu, your girl. Insiders say the ministry might be scrapped. Also, the Ministers of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani, Minister of State, Environment and Ecological Management, Ishak Salako, Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Atiku Bagudu, Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, Doris Anete, Minister of Interior, Olubumi Tunji Ojo, and a few others may not be lucky in the imminent cabinet reshuffle. I had to point out this amazing, you know, breakdown by the by the Guardian. Those names.
So you see, that's part of the things you were saying, Ayo, investigation. As regards Betta Edu.
Yes.
So what's the conclusion of the investigation
team? We only have 1 minute.
Let me just say
1 minute.
Dr. Bosun Tijani was on that list. He's doing a fantastic job. Mr. Olubumi Tunji Ojo, fantastic job. The others on that list, I agree.
I saw you doing
I think the speculations are absolutely unnecessary. I think it is poor form on the part of the government to make this announcement. If the president wants to reshuffle his cabinet, he has full powers under Section 5 of the 1999 Constitution. He should just go to the Federal Executive Council meeting and say, these ministers will no longer be here. These are the new ones. Otherwise, they will be putting pressure on everybody, going to beg, Oga should not sack me, Oga should not sack me.
Right.
Nigerians need a new cabinet. The announcement telling us scaremongering is unnecessary. Just give us a new set.
Give us a new set. Well, this was so much fun. I'd love to thank you all for your great analysis, as always, on What's Trending. Well, that's all I have for you guys on What's Trending today. I'll see you all tomorrow.